The topic of studying abroad is not a new concept, and neither is research on international perspectives of leadership development. However, few and far between are efforts that seek to marry those two concepts together. I envisioned a boots-on-the-ground experience, so to speak, where our students could be engaged in broadening their conceptions of leadership development through an international lens. Thus, I developed an initiative to join foster our graduate students from our distance learning program with an international study abroad experience on leadership development in the U.S. and in England. Our mission involved a search for understanding through engagement with school leaders and teachers who were aspiring leaders in positions that were parallel to our graduate students.
As far as middle leaders are concerned, I'm very interested in seeing how they go into other classrooms, how they promote teacher leadership.
How do they do it? Is it a 36-hour master's on top of that bachelor's degree? I'll be curious to find out how they develop their leaders there.
We began our study at the London Center for Leadership and Learning at the University of London, where we spent 2 days in seminars and roundtable discussions.
The word in this country that's being used in education is distributed leadership. Because the type of leadership that has, I feel, the system encouraged is the ego leader. Follow me and I'll show you, whatever, yeah?
I feel like in the United States, we take a top-down approach where the experts are coming to tell us as classroom teachers what is most effective in our classrooms. And really it should be the other way around, where the teachers who are working on a day-to-day basis with the students are the ones who are informing the district and the state and federal levels.
Next, we visited 2 schools in London to match our newly gained knowledge with observations of the varied roles of leadership in schools.
I would say there are 3 general strands. So you kind of the head of department role, the pastoral role, and then the kind of teaching middle leadership. So someone like Shaha, who takes on responsibility to improve teaching and learning across the school. So that's not in a subject area and that's not in a year group, that's kind of cross-phase and cross-subject.
They have a little bit more specialized program for their education. It's not necessarily a master's program or doctoral program. It's specific studies to teach teachers to become leaders.
And yeah, in terms of training, there is the NPQML, which is kind of new.
But some people, most of their training is on the job.
Teachers can enter into leadership at different points in their career.
But middle leadership is much more student-focused, I guess, than senior leadership. So you have much more contact with students.
We learned how schools in England have established a real culture of shared leadership and created numerous pathways with embedded support to develop their middle and senior leaders.
Leadership across levels is a lot more valued here, I believe, than in the U.S. The middle leaders are not especially aspiring to be head teachers, which I think in the U.S. the goal is to become a principal.
And they're also given opportunities to take on leadership roles while also maintaining their presence in the classroom, so that keeps their pulse on what's going on in the classroom and what the decisions that they're making, how they're affecting students.
If you become a middle leader, you have less of a load in the classroom so that they can focus on their leadership responsibilities that they have to take care of, rather than trying to juggle everything, a full class load and those leadership responsibilities.
And I think the biggest thing that really impacted me was collaboration. They really kind of put more of an emphasis on that experience, and those leadership experiences really complemented the head teacher and those around them, so that they built more of a leadership package in their schools. And I think if you take the time to really build up that middle leadership level, then that would definitely strengthen your leadership by building those leaders around you.
So what do we do with the information we learned? Well, we start slowly implementing the ideas and the concepts into our schools and our classrooms in our district, watching the impact reverberate to our wider circle of influence, to the educational spaces that we are all a part of, thus broadening and reshaping our American lens on leadership development.